Retro games are very much en vogue at this year's International Games Week in Berlin. Operating techniques are rudimentary and the graphics are archaic, but gamers here put body and soul into them. Berlin game developers Riyad Jamili and Johannes Christmann love the 30-year-old games. They're fascinated by Pac-Man and other classics of the genre.
It's like old furniture that you wouldn't ever put in your living room nowadays because it's cumbersome or weighs a ton. But you still admire it for the craftsmanship that went into it.
They both recently gave up their jobs with a major games developer to start their own studio. Their first creation was The Curious Expedition, a game of strategy. It's brand new but looks like a relic of the 1990s. The setting is the 1800s. The player heads an expedition off to explore distant lands and overcome all sorts of obstacles, such as strange, never-before-contacted peoples or natural disasters. Johannes Christmann designs the old-school graphics. He conjures up landscapes using just a handful of pixels. The game's simple, no-frills look is another advantage.
Our game won't be outdated too quickly because it was designed to be an antique. We hope it'll still be playable in 5 or 10 years' time. In contrast, when a modern game comes out today, it already looks outdated after 6 months. Plus, there's a reduction of the resolution, which we hope will leave more to the player's imagination.
The game's concept is also influenced by the classics. As in the original adventure games, the player has to read a lot and carry out complicated tasks. If your character dies, you have to start all over again, with no saving your previous progress.
It's a tricky game that can make you tear your hair out for a few hours. That too is reminiscent of the old difficult games. There's a great fascination with a game that's hard to master and in which you can fail. In our game, there are lots of ways to lose, and that's a big attraction.
Retro, that's what people usually call games that are more than 20 years old. This is the mother of all commercial computer games, Pong, from the year 1972. A little later, Space Invaders came out. It paved the way for a series of other shoot-'em-up games. Mario appeared in 1983 and made jump-and-run games popular around the world. Then came the first graphic adventure games. Monkey Island from 1990 boasted outstanding graphics and a cult following. Today, more and more developers are out to return to the old look. As in Minecraft from 2009. With 56 million copies sold, it's one of the most successful games in the world, despite or maybe precisely because of its graphics. Gaming expert Andreas Lange says those images remind many people of their youth.
These early computer games became popular at the time when computer technology as a whole was spreading. These graphics became known along with the first personal computers. And looking back today, we know how important this development was for us. A digital revolution began back then, and so these retro graphics don't stand just for dumb old games, but for computer technology as a whole.
And retro games are popping up in art, too. 8-bit graphics on canvas, here at Berlin Games Week. The Game Boy is obviously still a huge favorite, and among the eye-catchers at the exhibition, as is the Nintendo family of figures, the past inspiring the present generation for the future.
If a picture of us would hang here someday, what a fantastic idea that is.
For now, they just hope their game is a hit, and that someday people will look back on it as a classic too.